I remember the sound of the doorknob being forced and his fists hitting the walls. He was screaming at me, a rage I did not recognize. The man I thought I knew, completely changed. I had locked the bedroom door. A simple act of self-preservation. A boundary. He did not like boundaries. This is the main teaching of any church, that man and woman become one. Unfortunately, in most cases, this is a one-sided idea, where women are expected to be submissive and obedient. The good thing for me is that I had a different background, where I saw my mother and grandmother struggling without a good man by their side. He broke the door and got into the room. He cornered me and kept hitting things around the room to the point that he made a hole on the wall. I was terrified, a cold fear that settles in your bones. I ran. Then I got cornered in the closet. This is not marriage. This is a cage. I made a break for the kitchen, my heart hammered. The first thoughts I had were from the memories I lived around the females I knew in my family, and how they were mistreated. I never wanted this to be repeated and lived this for myself. I grabbed the heaviest thing I could find, a skillet. I thought he was going to hit me. He was screaming so loud in my face I was traumatized. "Stay away," I said. He laughed. He twisted my wrist, and took the skill from my hands, and threw it on the floor and split into two. This was one of the several moments I lived with this psychopath maniac. The lack of respect and how the teaching of a religion makes men believe they must rule over the vulnerable. But they don't teach it that way. They make women believe they belong in the house, serving their family, because that is their divine calling. Small towns have their own language, a language of whispers, of sidelong glances, stories passed over coffee, in church pews. His ex showed up one Sunday and the air turned to static. The story came in pieces, rumors and truths I didn't want to see. I had married a man I did not know. His family offered no support, no life raft. I was adrift on an ocean of his making. He was my warden. He read my emails. He checked my phone. He decided who I was allowed to be. I tried to be strong for our children. The yelling, the eggshells. Fear wears you down, grain by grain. I knew I had to leave. Not yet, but soon. During that year, I became pregnant, and I had to show my children what a free woman looked like. My daughter was born too small, too fragile. They rushed her away to the children's hospital. Oxygen, machines, wires. I could only watch. 2 days in sterile silence, praying to a God I wasn't sure was listening. On the second day, she died. The silence that followed was the loudest sound I've ever heard. When my daughter had her autopsy done, the doctor said a word I'd never heard. CMV, cytomegalovirus. A common virus. Most people never know they have it. But for a baby in the womb, it is a tragedy. A virus attacking the brain, lungs, and organs. Invisible and silent. After she died, I needed answers. I read about dormancy and reactivation when immunity is low. I was living in stress and fear. I couldn't find a clear source. Not knowing became its own terror. The world felt unsafe. I became a gatekeeper. My next baby was born at home. No interventions. I wanted peace. A healing act to reclaim what was taken. But my youngest struggled. High fevers, breathing problems, pneumonia, sleepless nights, constant care. My fear became an obsession. Clean living. No soda, no bright snacks, only whole and pure. I tried to build a fortress of health. Meanwhile, the pain at home grew. Unpredictable, destructive. "I'm afraid he's going to kill you." I had been minimizing, pretending, enduring. Guilt flooded me, for what they had seen, for staying. Even in church, I found mostly silence, the fear, the control, the sadness. I made a decision, the hardest and simplest of my life. I would leave. I would not be controlled. I would not live in fear. I chose me. I chose peace. I chose joy. Healing did not happen overnight. It was slow and messy, one step, then another. I made a small space online, a room of my own, natural self-love. I wrote about healing, boundaries, and forgiving yourself. Self-care not as luxury, but survival. I reached into the darkness and found others. Every share felt like a light switching on. My pain was not just my own, a shared human story. Real love does not control. It does not demand. It does not diminish. Real love sets you free. My pain was becoming my purpose. I still believe in the Creator, who can be both feminine and masculine, a higher plan in mystery. Sometimes loss guides us and carves space for strength. If you feel trapped, try one small thing. Look yourself in the eye and say, "I am safe. I am worthy of love." Even if you don't believe it, say it for 1 week. Healing begins with a single step. Choose you. Choose self-love. Choose safety. You deserve peace. You were born to be free.